Hello and welcome back to another video. And as you can see, the ground is wet, and if you know by the hopefully the thumbnail and the title, you know what this video is going to be about. We're going to be going down to every field we own and checking how they are, because I think we got at least 4 days of just pure heavy rain, and it's just caused havoc in the fields. I think they're gone pure soft now. So I'm going now in this video to go check on the fields, how they're coping, what the ground is like, is it soft, or what the story is like, and we can sort of gear then how long we can keep our cattle out for, because we plan on keeping them out until near the end of October, because we have a herd test on the 4th of November. So yeah, we are trying to keep them out for as long as we can. We're not in any farming schemes, we're not in acres or any of that stuff where we have to have cattle off certain fields at a certain month or any of that. So we're not in any of that. So we can keep them out on any field we own for as long as we want and for as long as we can. So that's what I'm going to do today. I have the bog trotters on, and let's go and check on the first field, which this one down here is the closest, so we'll go check on that one. Already when you first open the gate, you have a little tire track there full of water, so you know that really isn't a good sign. But this field here is probably going to be one of our best fields. There wasn't as much cattle out on this field as there would be our other fields. There were 2 cows and 2 calves and 2 heifers out in this field. We have the Wainlands that were over in Hollerins put into this field here, which is called the Shroy, which is actually out there one of our softest fields we own. So I'm not expecting anything major in there. I'm expecting it to be quite soft. But here, I don't know, I think it could be fairly alright, but if you drove into it with a tractor, you'd probably still leave tyre tracks. To put it into perspective, Sunday the 24th of September we got heavy rain in our area, which caused local flooding. On Wednesday the 27th of September we had Storm Agnes, which brought rain and heavy or strong winds. Thursday the 28th of September we got heavy rain showers, and Saturday the 30th of September we had heavy rain showers. So we had 4 days there, not in a row, but we had 4 days of heavy rain, and the days in between where we didn't get heavy rain, there wouldn't be much drying in fields or anything like that. So yeah, you can already tell there, easily put in a footprint there. So yeah, it's starting to rain as well. You can see there's cow grooves in there. Usually if there's a place bogged or with cow grooves in it with water, the field isn't too soft, and you can see that I can move the soil around with my foot. So you know, you wouldn't want much cows in this field because they'll just have it bogged, just pure bogged. Right, I've walked further up the field. We started down there and I've walked a bit up. The ground seems to be getting a bit more better the further up we go, but what it's like up along the wood line there, I don't know. And down there in that sort of hollow down there is always a soft spot, so we'll go and look at that in a minute. Right, so I'm up along the ridge line here, and it's not that bad. You can see there's cow grooves there, but there's no water in it, and it's not as easily, the ground isn't as easily sort of moved by foot like it was down there. So the further up I came, the ground condition is way better here than it was down there. Because I mean, if we let cows in and put them down there in the soft spot where we were a minute ago, they wouldn't last 2 or 3 days and the field to be bogged. But again, that's just the time of year that it is. You know, the winter is here, the winter is coming, and we're going to be getting rain and storms right, left and centre in Ireland. So you know, it's not the new, it's not the new around here, and the rain usually starts at around this time and probably won't stop then until like March or April time. Now I'm down at the sort of hollow bit I was up there when I mentioned it. This is usually the softest part of the field because there's a slight hill on the field there, so when it rains the water will be coming down the field and down to here. And there is a drain just there, but you know, it's not the best drain in the world. In fact, would you even call it much of a drain at all? Not really. And you can see just water everywhere. You can move the soil easily with your foot without any hassle. So yeah, and you can just hear the water underneath your foot as you walk along. So yeah, this is usually the softest part in this field anyways. You can just see it's flooded. Well, not flooded, but there's water lying on top of the ground. It hasn't got time to soak down or anything like that because we got the 4 days of heavy rain. Yeah, so I think up there and down here, definitely the softest parts in this field. You wouldn't put much cattle now in here. You wouldn't want to be putting 6 cows and 6 calves or 8 cows or whatever amount of cows and calves in here, because they'll just have it bogged in days. So I think now we'll go out and have a look at the shroy, which is one of our softest fields we own. So yeah, I'm not expecting it to be dry or anything. I'm expecting most of the field to be as wet as patches of this field that we're in now. But yeah, we'll go and have a quick look at it. Currently we have the weanlings in there. We have the 6 weanling heifers and the 3 weanling bullocks in there. We moved them from Hollerins into here a couple of days ago. Yeah, if you let cows in here, like around this area here and down there, over there along the wood line isn't as bad. We had a look at that. But if you let cows or drove one of our tractors in here, like the 674 or the 135 without twin wheels, you'd start leaving some nice tire tracks in the ground. So yeah, I think no more cattle in this field. There isn't any grass to let anything else in here. So, and it's the time of the season now when grass isn't growing back as fast or isn't growing at all. So there's no point letting any more cattle in here because there's just no grass and it's not growing. There you go, the entrance to the shroy, our softest field we own. There they are. So this is the field in question. You can tell there's a lot of rushes, so it's definitely the softest field we own. And just walking, you can just hear the water underneath your footsteps. Now this section of the field, we usually see this field in sort of halves. So literally in the middle there, going up to a certain distance, is a small drain, and past that drain, the far side over where that wood is usually the softest area in this field. But it's soft anyways. There's a lot of water here. You can hear the water underneath your footsteps. It is soft here. There's still pickings of grass in it. There's not a lot, but there's a bit. They could be here for another week or two. Yes, we're in a soft spot now, mate. You're kind of sinking into the ground here. This is definitely the worst. I'm gone down a bit there. Yeah, that spot there is quite bad. But up along the wood line is probably also quite bad as well. Don't know if we need to look at it because I think it's going to be a very similar story to what was what it was like down there. Yeah, I don't think I'll bother checking down there because always along that wood line, especially from that corner there to somewhere around here, that stretch along the wood line is always quite soft. And I don't want this video being too long because there's really nothing happening. It's just me walking around fields checking how soft they are. So yeah, I don't want the video to be dragging on too long. So the next field we'll go to now is up at our own house, at the back of our own house. That's where we have our 6 cows and 6 calves. They have the fields behind our house is split into 3 paddocks, and the further up you go. So the first paddock mightn't be too bad, the second paddock could be worse, and then the third paddock could probably be the worst out of the lot. But we'll go up and have a look at it. We also let them into what we call the garden, which is literally beside that field. It's just a small section of grass. That's usually nearly as soft as the shroy here, so we can have a quick look at that. In fact, when we first let them in, going through the gate, their legs were sinking down a lot. So that goes to show how bad that field is. And if the grooves are still there, we could have a look at them and see how deep they actually went into the ground. The entrance to the field isn't looking too good. You have a track there full of water, and you have a track there, and the gate is just there. So yeah, usually now when you're driving a vehicle in here like a tractor or whatever and it's leaving tracks, it's not really a good sign. Obviously there's water lying on top of the ground there, there's water lying on top of the ground there. This field has gotten bad, and this is probably one of the better fields we own. It's just water lying on the ground everywhere you walk. And here now, we had a ring feeder for silage. We've moved it up there. We'll go up there now in a minute, but we started it off here. We started giving them, I think we must have given them 2 or 3 bales of silage in this area at first, and I think we moved it, it was either before or after Storm Agnes. We came down one day and it was just a mess and decided to move it. And I'm not going to walk in there because you'll just sink, but yeah, that has been looking like that for just over a week now. And we moved the feeder just over there, and we'll have a look at that now, because we put a bale in there I think maybe 3 or 4 days ago up in the new area, which when we went up the ground wasn't as good as we thought it'd be. It was quite soft. Another familiar sight of water just lying on top of the ground, not able to soak into the ground because, well, it's waterlogged. We do have drains in this field. In fact, we have a lot of drains in this field, but I'll show you the drain situation after I show you the feeder situation up here. And whether the camera is able to pick it up or not, I can see it. It's quite mucky. You can see water is here, lying everywhere here. Yeah, but this section of the field is just bog. It's peat soil, and it's not as bad. They should have a bit of silage left in it. It's starting to get warm, that. It's not as bad as what it was down there, because it was down there a bit longer than it was here. So they trampled down there more than they've trampled here, and obviously that has gotten way more wet weather while being trampled at the same time than this area here. And it's starting to rain again. No, but as you can see, it's not awfully bad here. Now you'd want the likes of the 60-80 maybe to come up and give them another bale if they need another bale, but we're trying to get them over onto the Fair Hill, our silage field, on the aftergrass as soon as possible. And the old man wants to strip graze them on it. So this is a 10-acre field and he wants to strip graze them. I don't know what the ground situation is like over there. I might go over and have a look at it in this video, but again, I might not. But if the Fair Hill where we want to put the cattle over onto the aftergrass, you can see here is bad as well. But it's just a cliff. But when they do go over on the aftergrass in the Fair Hill, depending on what the ground is like, if it's too wet, me personally probably wouldn't strip graze them, because you're curtailing them into a certain area of the field for a couple of days to eat the grass, which the pros of that is that they'll eat the grass more efficiently, they lead it down lower than if we let them out into the full field. They'd be trampling more grass and they would eat more grass. But if we stripped graze them, you know, they'd be trampling that little bit less and eating that little bit more. But I think it's not the weather, it's not the time of season for strip grazing anything. That, you know, strip grazing is more for the summer months. Once you come into the winter months, you know, September, October time like we're in now, grounds are getting soft, the weather is just getting worse, and it's just you're curtailing 6 cows and 6 calves, and these calves now would be nearly year-olds. Some of them would have been born November, December time last year, 2022, and some of them would have been born January, February time this year, 2023. So they're, you know, they're going on. They're nearly year-olds, and they're not small little calves like they were. They have grown and gained a bit more weight than they would have. So you know that you're putting extra weight onto ground that just isn't able to carry that weight. So now we'll have a look at one of our drains. And keeping in mind that these drains haven't been cleaned out for years. In fact, more than 10 years probably that they haven't been cleaned out. So they are due to be cleaned out, but they're just full of water. It's like a river. It's more, the drains, our drains anyways, look more like a river than they do a drain. There you go, that's the drain. It continues up there, and it gets worse the further up you go, because there was a line of tape. That tape there was going across that way, but we brought it out towards a gap in the wood there, out to that field over there, which is what we call the garden. We'll be having a look at that in a minute, because that's another one of our softest fields we own. So I want to see what the state of that is like. But yeah, we'll travel a bit further up the drain, because the further up you go, especially up here now, it's swimming with water. Or it was. I wouldn't say the water has depleted that much. There you go. You can clearly see it's getting deeper, and there's more water appearing in it. And there's our river. That's our river right there. Anyways, yeah, the fence was coming, the electric tape was coming. We had a wooden stake at the corner there, and it was coming this way, fencing them off there. But we took it down from here, and we brought it out a small little gap there. I'll show you now. But that's how I knew that the drains were full of water. There you go, that's the little gap going out to what we call the garden, which is nearly as bad as the shroy across the road. In fact, the shroy is directly across the road from this field here. And there they are. There's the 6 cows and 6 calves. You can see that the calves have gotten slightly bigger. They're not as small as they once were, obviously. And there you go. That is the sort of the little gap into the field behind our house, into the garden. It's just bogged. Deep grooves as well. Really deep grooves. You can just hear the water. This is basically, this field here, the best that I can describe it is basically like a lake with just grass sitting on top of it. It's basically a lake with grass, you know, that's what it is. It's just water. And this is the gate that we let them into when we had all the fencing done. And they walked down this direction, and you could just see them hooves going down as far as Australia. But yeah, I don't really have a stick or anything to see how deep the grooves are, but you can just see wherever there's water lying, there's a hollow in the ground, and it's waterlogged, and it's not being able to soak the water down, and it's just sitting at the top, like most fields in the west of Ireland and anywhere else in Ireland this time of year. It's going to be a very similar story, especially if your field is in a low-lying place. It's probably flooded. Luckily, we live more on a higher ground area, sort of hilly and stuff, so our fields don't really get flooded, but they do get really wet. And there you go. Obviously some of these cows are in calf, some of them aren't in calf. I'm actually doing a bit of paperwork this evening to see which ones are in calf and which ones aren't. So obviously if the cows that are in calf, they're carrying a calf in them, they'll be calving around November, December, January, February time, so they're carrying that extra little bit of weight. Those are the calves that have grown. Some of them now could be 300 plus kg. So yeah. Also keeping in mind that they're only in here in this field 2 or 3 days. So yeah, it's not as bogged as what it probably could get if we left them in here for a while, which we plan on keeping them in here for as long as we can, and then moving them into the Fair Hill, which is just that field there, into the aftergrass. And that's the field we want to let them out on, the Fair Hill into the aftergrass. Obviously there's a hill this side and then a hill the far side. So each side of the hill, this side and the far side, are probably going to be the wettest because the water will run down from the hill each side. But I mightn't include that in this video because this video is already, what, 20 minutes long. And I didn't want this video to be that long. So what I might do is maybe make a separate video of this. Once we have a couple of weeks of strip grazing done in the field, I might look at the field and see how well it's coping, it being strip grazed with 6 cows and 6 calves being curtailed to one section of the field each time, and how that's coping with the ground being fairly wet and soft, and what the ground will look like, whether it be bogged or not bogged after a couple of weeks of it being strip grazed. So I might keep that for another video, and again I might not. But yeah, that's all this video was. I know it's not the most entertaining of videos, but you know, farmers could watch this video and see how bad our land is compared to their land. Their land mightn't be as bad, their land could be worse. So yeah, but that is going to be the end of today's video. If you liked it, please do give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out my merch and the gate mate. The links to them will be down in the description. And that is it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Take care.